What's up, everybody? Coach Daisha here, bringing you this week's hot topic. This is one that I did have to answer this one quite a few times in the past, probably 2 or 3 weeks. And I think it's interesting because for a lot of people, a lot of the patients and clients that I deal with who have osteoporosis or osteopenia, they know or they have heard lately that the big thing that they've got to do is they've got to lift weights, they've got to strength train. And for so many of them, especially women who might have been doing other things throughout their lives as far as exercise is concerned, a lot of them want to know what about the other stuff, right? And how that plays into their, not just their exercise routine, but their lives. And so I've done a lot of encouraging of people to continue to do what they've always done. But I wanted to make it a little bit more scientific so people can understand why that matters. So today we're talking about what does it truly mean to be physically fit? So we're going to talk about the 5 different parameters of physical fitness and how your strength training matters not just for your bone mineral density, but for other aspects, and how other exercises are going to help you meet that definition of being physically fit. So let's get started. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about are the actual 5 components of physical fitness. Now, I vividly remember back in the day, almost 20 some odd years ago, when I was in college, actually over 20 years ago at this point, probably closer to 30 years, when I was in college and learning all about the human body and, biomechanics, physiology, all that stuff, what the definition of physical fitness was back then. And I know that it has changed from when I learned it to what it is now. But as of 2025, according to the American College of Sports Medicine, there are 5 main parameters that you want to look to in order to achieve true physical fitness. And that includes cardiovascular endurance, muscular strength, balance, and body composition. Now, I know for a fact when I was in college, body composition was not one of them. I want to say flexibility might have been the 5th one. But now here we are in 2025, and body composition is one of the main factors to determine true physical fitness. So when I work with people with osteoporosis and osteopenia, once again, there's a lot of talk around strength training and, of course, impact exercises as well. And I even tout that myself, right? I always tell people look to do 3 things: look to lift weights, look to do impact, and look to work on balance. So I know all of those things put together are going to help somebody improve their diagnosis when it comes to osteoporosis. But a lot of people then feel that that's the only thing they should be doing. That's it. I should only be lifting weights and I should only be doing impact movements. But let's stop and think about all of those parameters of physical fitness that I just talked about. There's 5 of them. Of the 5, what does strength training touch? What does strength training actually improve? Well, it's going to improve muscular strength, obviously, and muscular endurance. And it's also going to help us with body composition, right? Because as we develop more muscle and the muscles grow in size, we call that hypertrophy. That's going to change how we look and how our clothing fits, etc. So your body composition will change as you grow more muscle and probably at the same time lose some adipose tissue, aka fat. So of the 5, we've hit 3 of them: muscular strength, muscular endurance, and your body composition. But where's the cardiovascular endurance and where is the balance component? And that's not to say that your heart rate can't get up when you are doing lifting sessions and that there can't be some balance component to your strength training. But let's be real. For traditional strength training, in a traditional way, traditional setting, you're really going to only hit those 3. So guess what, people? That means that you're going to have to do other things to hit those last 2, to hit the cardiovascular endurance and the balance. And that's where a lot of the activities that you may already love come into play. So think of all the cardiovascular stuff that you like to do, whether that's walking, running, hiking, biking, swimming, rowing machine, treadmill, your favorite Zumba class, et cetera, et cetera. So many activities, especially for women, that they have enjoyed for years really fall under that cardiovascular endurance category. So it's important to continue to have those things in your repertoire. It is so important that you still hit those things on a weekly basis. And then let's talk about balance, because balance, like I said earlier, it's one of the three components that we should be working on when it comes to bone mineral density and helping to not only reverse osteoporosis, but improve our bone health. And that's because we're trying to decrease our fall risk, right? We want to prevent falls. So balance. Once again, traditional strength training, unless you're doing something single leg or single arm, etc., there is some balance component to those things. But once again, for traditional lifts, we're not doing a lot when it comes to balance. So how can we do that? We can do that in other formats, such as Pilates, yoga, Tai Chi, bar, etc. And what I love about those particular ones is that those types of classes or those types of formats are not only amazing for balance and flexibility, but they are amazing for active recovery. And it is truly important that throughout your week, you are putting in 1 to 2 days of active recovery where your body is still moving, but you are not stressing your muscles the same way that you would in a traditional strength training session. All right. So with all that said, can you now see how important it is to not only focus on those parameters that we know help strength train or help with bone mineral density, but that we also continue to do the other things? I call this cross training. And from a sports medicine standpoint, because that's my background, it is so important to cross train. It is important to not do the same stuff every single day all year round. It is very important that your body experiences other types of exercises and workouts, doing things in different planes of motion, doing things for different speeds, right? Doing something fast, doing something slow. It is so, so important because when we cross train, we drastically decrease our risk of injury. It's when we do the same types of movements over and over and over again that we develop what we call chronic or overuse injuries. So anything with an itis attached to it probably has to do with overuse, tendonitis, arthritis, et cetera, et cetera. So when we have a nice, well-rounded workout routine, something that of course has the strength training and the impact movements, but also includes cardiovascular activities and some of that mind-body stuff, our Pilates, yoga, etc. Our body gets everything it needs to put us in a true physical fitness realm. All right. So I hope that helps you understand that it's okay to continue doing some of the stuff you love. It is completely okay to make sure that, yes, I've got some strength training in there, but I've also got my favorite dance class. It's okay to have that strength training in there, but it's still okay to swim. It's still okay to do some of the things that are even non-weight bearing. It is perfectly fine for us to have a well-rounded fitness routine and still honor the fact that we are trying to improve our bone health. I hope that that was extremely helpful for you. I know that that was a short one, but it was one that, like I said, I've answered that question a lot lately, so I wanted to do a video on it. And as always, let us know in the comments below, of those 5 parameters of physical fitness that I talked about, what's the one that you find the most challenging? And what is the one that you are going to be focusing on for the next few weeks so you can truly be physically fit? That's it for this week, everybody. I will see you next time for another hot topic.